you guys ever expect that this is what you'd be doing?
No.
No, not in a million.
We did not expect
I never
we would be doing
expected it in a million years.
No. Hi, I'm Wes. I used to be a house painter.
And I'm Richie. I used to be in marketing and advertising.
And now we build erotic furniture.
We cater towards all the BDSM community, but also the adult baby community.
I'm married to my daddy.
You know, they want to feel
Small.
the fantasy. You know, they want to feel like they're small or whatever.
Every day we go through orders and what we're going to be working on that day or that week.
Because it gets confusing. And we don't have a ton of shop space right now. So.
And come on in. This is where the magic happens.
Yes, this is our shop.
Lust and Lure is a custom furniture company that is targeted specifically towards the BDSM community. Here's our list: an adult crib, the adult high chair, and then there's the bondage bench, and then of course these two high chairs that are in-house right now. I build, then Wes starts his process.
Which is basically staining or painting, you know, and then we do the packing stuff together.
So I had no experience with the fetish community until we got here and started having conversations with people.
And a lot of times we learn about stuff as it's brought before us. From my understanding, adult babies are people who like to be treated like infants, you know, taken care of, cleaned and fed, diapered, showered, bathed, all that kind of stuff. And we make specific equipment for them, such as giant adult-sized cribs, giant adult-sized chairs.
And so we create furniture that actually fulfills the fantasy and the illusion.
And you know, I mean, just so you know too, we're not in like this community or whatever, so we're speaking from what we've been able to learn from people.
So hold on, I'll show you. We'll have Wes sit in it for scale.
Why do I have to sit in it? We actually sort of built these up so that they're bigger now. I feel like originally when we started on them, that they were sort of
Low.
glorified bar stools. So we sort of added some height to them. So an adult high chair, I think, runs now around $900 plus shipping and handling, which is one of our lower end items. Changing table price is similar to a crib's price, which is around $2,000. The higher end things like the king size bondage bed can end up running close to $5,000. He and I have been together since September of 2001. We got married 6 years ago this summer.
We were in a club in Nashville and this guy tapped me and said, "Hey, my friend thinks you're hot." And that was actually our meeting story.
And I said, no, I never said anything like that. No.
And basically we've been together ever since.
We have.
I began my career as a graphic artist and then became head of marketing for a large company. Corporate America, it doesn't have a soul. And I thought, I'm gonna end up where I have lived a life where I just worked myself to death to make somebody else $1 million, and I'm just empty inside.
I painted houses for a living. I had my own business, so I still do exactly the same thing. I just get to do it with this one.
We decided to sell everything we owned in Nashville. And our friend said, you know, I have a great place in Oregon. You guys just come and stay with me till you figure out where you want to land on the West Coast. I heard that he was building custom beds. I really didn't know the extent of how custom the beds were. As he was coming down here and building some of his projects, I said, I want to come down and learn. Just show me. I helped him build, I'd say 3 beds. A couple of months later, you know, yeah, he had the stroke. And if we hadn't been here, he probably wouldn't have survived.
Yeah,
you
he
know?
would have died right out there in the bushes where he fell.
And so we picked up the business just to keep it moving for him until he could get better. And then once it became apparent that he wasn't ever going to be able to pick this back up, that's when we reached out to our other business partner who is related to him. And we all started talking about how we could keep this going.
I'm sort of our de facto CEO and co-founder. My father founded this business and, was essentially running it as a one-man operation for the better part of 5 or 6 years before getting ill. And, my dad was good friends with both of them. So it's amazing to have 2 people like this that I've known essentially my entire life. The trust that we have, it's really everything.
This is not like a fast process. Every piece is built to order for every person. So we make hardware store trips typically a dozen times a week or more. I was looking at like the cedar posts. Ooh, I think they've come down in price a little bit.
Yeah, they have come down in price a little bit.
If you buy all the materials for a bed, that by itself can top $500. And that's before you even put in, 40 hours worth of labor. And on top of that, at the end, you have incredibly high shipping prices right now because freight rates are incredibly expensive. We packed up some stocks, which we are getting ready to ship out to a customer. I think a crib's shipment price typically runs about $250 for us. If it's going on the West Coast, it might be $350. If it goes to the East Coast, we've seen them be as much as $700 and $800, which is all money we've got to eat because you can't put that kind of shipping price. It can be pretty brutal. Anytime somebody messages me, I like to be sure that they have a response within 60 minutes at the latest.
In the ordering process, they ask a lot of questions. People want these things to be tailored towards them personally. I had one guy reach out to us. He goes, I need an adult crib, but I want it to be a pen. There's a puppy fetish too, puppy play it's called. He wanted it to feel like Paw Patrol. There's a kids program, and he wanted it in that blue, and he wanted a special logo done.
And you can't really see it up close, but these are all like little paw prints that have been painted into it. Richie cut all this out, custom painted it by hand. It was probably about this big.
I believe it cost me $1,400. It was well worth the price that he was asking for. I generally play the age of 8 to 6 years old. I have a lot of toddler stuff, and I wear diapers and stuff like that. And I'm married to my daddy. We've been married for 4 years. And then later on, I discovered pup play, and I often mix ABDL with pup play. As far as for cribs, there's only 5 or 6 sites that I've ever found, and most of them are charging $6,000 and $7,000. And the reason why that is because a lot of them are European based, and so you have to pay $500-$600 in shipping just to have it created up and shipped to you. I was on Etsy, which is the site that Wes is on, and I found him just out of sheer luck. His quality is top notch.
I think that some people may feel like they have to be secretive and sort of underground about their fetishes, about the things that they're into. Not that they feel like they have to be that way with us, because I think that they look at us as sort of part of the community because we cater to the community. So.
And that's sort of a company goal for us too, is to
destigmatize it.
Destigmatize this and tell people, it's okay for 2 consenting adults to decide that they want to do whatever this is together.
Pup play and the ABDL side, those are very, very sheltered fetishes because not a lot of people understand those right now. Certain professions, they would frown upon it. If you were working with children every day and you said, oh, I'm an ABDL, well, you're probably not going to have a job anymore.
I'm from Mississippi, and when I first came out as gay, a lot of my family didn't speak to me for 10 years. And there's this judgment thing, And I know the world is very different now, but that's how I feel about our customers is I don't want them to feel judgment. I want them to be excited and accepted and understand that hey, this is something you're excited about and that you're gonna love. And we just want to build that, for them. We want them to have that anticipation and joy all along the way.
So what I'm looking at here is my Etsy dashboard, which is where I keep up with all of our analytics. Right now, this year, we've gotten off to a really hot start. A 2,000% jump year over year is massive. So there's a community out there that's underserved, and there's money to be made there. I think last year, even with the pandemic, it was somewhere around 90,000. And this year, we're already about 1,400% above where we were last year at this time. So we could conceivably go 150, 200,000 or more.
What we're essentially going to be doing is relaunching this summer. We'll be relaunching around a summer collection. So obviously, as we scale, that's the most important part, is making sure that quality is maintained. This is the very unexpected side hustle that I didn't really plan on ever being a meaningful part of in the early stages. I truly wanted nothing to do with it. I was still really coming to grips with my dad's identity. I just wasn't sort of in a mature enough place to take it seriously, and it's taken a lot of growth on my side. Obviously, as you can see, by wanting to stay anonymous, I still have some more growing to do before I can really be the face of this. But I'm really proud of what we built so far, and it's really opened my eyes to the fact that, again, this is a space that deserves to be normalized. I'd say if it's not a 7-figure business in the next couple of years, I'll have not done my job. But beyond just the creation of a brand, My goal with all of this was just to affect a better life for the folks involved in the business. And that's my dad and Wes and Richie. I truly see them like family. And if we have no other financial successes other than those three are taken care of, then I'm cool with that.
There's nights that we finish down here and we close everything up, and there's something about coming down either later that evening or the next morning and seeing the fully finished product that you've done, the fruits of your labor sitting there in front of you, fully manifested, and you're like, fuck, I made that. You know, I built that from start to finish. I created this, and now I'm gonna send it off to somebody else to love.
And when you look at that and you go, a year, 2 years ago, we couldn't have done what we are able to do now. And that is a fundamental change in the person that I am. It's that hindsight thing where I keep looking back at my life, and every part of my life has always prepared me for every other part of my life. This is just one more of those things. I can't wait to see what I'm being prepared for next.